You're stroking your cat. They're purring, they're settled on your lap, everything is going beautifully. And then, with no warning at all, they turn and bite your hand. And the story almost everybody tells themselves afterwards is the same one. My cat is unpredictable. My cat turned on me. Maybe my cat doesn't actually like me. None of that is true. Your cat gave you at least 3 clear warnings before that bite, probably more, and you didn't see any of them. Not because you weren't paying attention, but because nobody ever taught you what to look for, and because most of us are reading cats through dog-colored glasses. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Bennett, your neighborhood cat guy. Today we're doing cat body language properly. The tail, the ears, the eyes, the postures, and what every one of them actually means. Because misreading these things is how people get scratched, how cats get labeled as difficult, and how a cat in pain or genuine fear goes completely unnoticed in their own home. And here's the good news. It's a language. It's consistent, and once you can read it, you'll never be surprised by your own cat again. Quick note before we go on. This is one chapter of a much bigger conversation about what your cat is trying to tell you, and I've gathered all of it into a book called The Happy Cat Manual over at leobennettsecrets.com. If you want more happy years with your cat, go take a look. That's all. Let's start with the biggest mistranslation of all, the wagging tail. A dog wags their tail when they're happy. Everybody knows that, and it's so deeply embedded that we apply it automatically to every animal we meet. So when a cat's tail starts moving, people lean in, pet more, they keep going. With a cat, it means almost exactly the opposite. Here's the way I want you to think about it. Your cat is an energetic balloon. They sleep for a huge portion of the day, banking energy for a hunt that never comes. And when something starts winding them up, that balloon begins to fill. And the tail is the pressure valve. So it starts as a twitch, just the tip, occasionally. That's the first bit of air escaping, and it means arousal is building. Keep going, and the twitch becomes a rhythmic flick. Keep going further, and the flick becomes a wave, and then a full, thrashing, side-to-side wag. And by the time you're seeing that thrash, your cat is not enjoying this. That's a cat telling you, as loudly as their body knows how, that they are completely over it. So the correct way is to treat the tail as a gauge and act on the first reading, not the last. At a twitch, ease off. At a flick, stop petting entirely. At a full wag, step away and either leave them in peace or give them a toy so that energy has somewhere to go. And the moment you start responding to twitches instead of bites, the biting largely stops, because you're relieving the pressure before it pops. Now, the tail is your best gauge, but it isn't your only one, and there are 2 more signals that ride alongside it. The first is the ears. As arousal builds, they rotate out and start to flatten sideways, and you'll often see them flicking. That's the same message as the tail flick, arriving on a different channel. The second is what I'd describe as lightening down the back, little ripples running along the spine and the skin twitching. That's another arousal signal, and people almost never notice it because they're looking at the face. And there's a fourth, the pupils. Wide open pupils in a normally lit room mean your cat is aroused, and combined with a flicking tail and flattened ears, that's a cat who is seconds from acting. Now here's the thing I most want you to take from this section, and it changes how you feel about the whole problem. Your cat is not choosing this. Overstimulation is not a decision they make. It's a physiological state their nervous system enters, and it happens to them rather than being something they do. So when someone says, "My cat attacked me for no reason," one second he's purring and the next he's biting, that cat was not being treacherous. That cat was being overstimulated, and their body made the call. Which means the responsibility for stopping is yours, because you're the one who can read the gauge. Keep an eye on that tail as your hand runs from head to base. Watch for the flick, the ears, the ripple, the pupils. That's your cue to give your hand a break, or your cat will give it one for you. Next, the belly. And this is dog-colored glasses again, and it's the one that gets people bitten most often. When a dog rolls onto their back, it's submissive, and it's also broadly an invitation. When a cat rolls onto their back, the meaning is entirely different. Think about what your cat is exposing. That midline, running from the throat down through the abdomen, is where everything vital lives, and it's the softest, least protected part of their body. A cat who meets a fox in the wild does not lie down and offer it up. That would be the last thing they ever did. So when your cat does that in front of you, it is a display of trust, possibly the biggest one available to them. It means, I am completely defenseless right now, and I've decided that's fine, because it's you. What it is not is an invitation to rub the belly. And I know some of you have a cat who genuinely loves a belly rub, and if that's yours, wonderful, carry on. But that's the exception. For most cats, touching that area is an intrusion. It overstimulates them quickly, and it invites the response people call the bunny kick, where they wrap all four paws around your arm and rake at it with their back legs. So the correct way is to accept the compliment and leave the belly alone. Scratch the cheeks, the chin, the base of the ears. That's what they're actually offering. Now let's read the tail as a position rather than a movement, because where your cat carries it tells you their mood before they've done anything at all. Straight up with a small hook or curl at the tip, like a backwards question mark, is your confident, happy, ready for the day cat. That's a cat who owns their territory and is pleased to see you. And when that hook straightens and the whole tail goes rigidly vertical, that's excitement. Something good is happening. As the tail lowers toward horizontal, you're looking at a cat who's investigating. Not worried, just gathering information. Something has caught their attention and they're deciding what to make of it. Lower still, and you're moving into caution and then into fear. The extreme version is a tail tucked tight underneath the body, which is a genuinely frightened cat. If you see that, something in their environment is wrong, and your job is to work out what, not to reassure them by picking them up. And then the puffed tail, which is its own category. Anytime a cat makes their fur stand up, they are trying to look bigger than they are. Fluffed tail, arched back, and sometimes the whole body turns sideways in that classic Halloween cat shape. Every element of that posture is designed to make a small animal look like a large one. Which means, and this is what people consistently get backwards, that posture is fear, not aggression. It's a bluff. Your cat is frightened and hoping the size of the display makes whatever they're facing decide it isn't worth the trouble. So the correct way is to find what they're afraid of and remove it, rather than removing the cat. Give them space and a clear escape route, and never punish that posture. They're not threatening you, they're telling you they're scared. Now here's the opposite, and it's the more dangerous one to misread. A cat who makes themselves small. Compacted, low to the ground, turned slightly to the side. That looks submissive. It is not submissive. That's a cat coiled, and they have two options from there. They can spring forward, or they can flip onto their back. And if they flip onto their back in this context, it is not an invitation to anything. Those back legs are the most powerful thing a cat owns, and a cat on their back with their hind claws free can do serious damage to whatever is in front of them. So context is everything with the belly. Relaxed cat, sleepy, stretched out, exposing the stomach in your living room is trust. Tense cat, compacted, ears back, rolling onto their back in a confrontation is a fighting position. And that brings me to the ears specifically, because they tell you a great deal, and they're easy to read once you know. Ears pinned flat back against the head means a cat who feels genuinely threatened. And there's a reason it looks like that. Ears are thin, exposed, and easy to injure, so a cat anticipating a fight flattens them out of harm's way. It's armor going up. And like the overstimulation signals, it isn't a decision. That's the sympathetic nervous system firing. Ears rotated forward, on the other hand, means focus, attention pointed at something specific. Which brings us to the eyes. And the crucial thing here is that pupil size means different things in different contexts. Narrowed pupils, with the ears forward and the whiskers pushed out toward the front, is a cat locked onto something. That's the hunting face. Every sensory system your cat has, ears, eyes, whiskers, is pointed at one target and gathering information about it. Wide, dilated pupils in normal light mean something else entirely. That's a cat taking in as much as possible, scanning the whole room, checking for exits. It's arousal, and it can be excitement, or it can be fear, and the rest of the body tells you which. And here's the bit worth acting on. If your cat gets low, goes still, locks on, and starts stalking, they are hunting. That's fine when the target is a toy. It's a problem when the target is your ankle, or another cat, or a child, because whatever they're locked onto is being treated as prey, and that rarely ends well for the thing being stalked. And it isn't naughtiness. It's a cat with far too much unspent hunting energy and nothing legitimate to point it at. So the correct way is not to punish the stalking, it's to give that drive somewhere to go. 15 minutes of proper play with a wand toy, moving it like something alive, letting them catch it, and then a meal. Do that daily and the ankle stops being interesting. Now let's finish with the good stuff, because it's not all warnings. When your cat comes up and rubs their face against you, or pushes the top of their head into your hand, or leans their body along your leg, they're not just being affectionate, they're marking you. Cats have scent glands in the cheeks, the forehead, the chin, and the paws, and every one of those rubs is depositing their scent onto you. In cat language, that means both "I love you" and "this one is mine." And honestly, those are closer to the same statement than you'd think. Kneading, making biscuits, is the same category. So is scratching, incidentally. Yes, it's destructive to your sofa, but what it actually is a confident cat claiming territory, leaving both a visual mark and a scent mark. It's the behavior of a cat who feels ownership of their space. And that's the real point of all of this. All these signals are one animal telling you constantly how safe they feel. Rubbing, kneading, scratching, tail up with a question mark at the top. That's a confident cat in a territory they own. Flattened ears, tucked tail, puffed fur, hiding. That's a cat who doesn't feel safe. And the tail twitches and ear flicks in between are the running commentary, telling you exactly when to stop. So let me pull it together. Take off the dog-colored glasses. A wagging tail is not happiness. It's a cat about to be done with you. Watch the tail, the ears, the ripple down the back, and the pupils, and respond to the first signal instead of the last one. A belly shown by a relaxed cat is trust, not an invitation. A puffed-up cat is frightened, not furious. A compacted low cat is loaded. Pinned ears mean threat. Forward ears mean focus. And rubbing, kneading, and scratching are your cat telling you they feel safe enough to own the place. None of this is subtle once you know it. Your cat has been narrating their entire emotional state to you every single day in a language that's completely consistent, and the only thing missing was the dictionary. So tell me in the comments, which of these had you reading backwards? I'd guess the tail for most of you, and I'd guess a fair few of you have the scars to prove it. Hit like, subscribe, and send this to somebody who's just got their first cat, so nobody gets bitten while they're figuring it out. I'm Leo Bennett, and go and watch that tail